Fuck off, Edge.
After the bushfires, we were heavily reliant on our online store.
Fuck off.
SCP-060
Petty
Alpha
Edge.
is markedly less than would be expected to quench a heat source of its intensity, with volumes of approximately 500 liters proving sufficient. Areas burned by SCP-060 Alpha will begin to yield sampling instances of SCP-060 over the following 4 to 6 weeks. Only one wave of sapling growth will follow any given containment breach. Said saplings are easily pulled and should be composted and supplied to SCP-060's normal containment chambers. Additional information. The property containing SCP-060 contained a burned-out, secluded house upon Foundation acquisition. According to civilian sources, the house's previous owner was a Jonathan Corhill, who was reported to have been a somewhat solitary eccentric, with a tendency towards bitterness and nihilism. Mr. Corhill was reported as a missing person in late 1996, several months after having suddenly cut off all ties to family members and friends. The last person to have had contact with Jonathan Corhill was his brother Christopher, via a telephone call. According to his brother, Corhill had developed an interest in the study of Victorian-era occultism. Furthermore, he reported that Jonathan Corhill had seemed normal up until the phone call, at which point he told Christopher never to contact him again. Later in the year, a mail carrier visited the home to deliver a notice of foreclosure, finding it instead as a burned-out shell. Examination showed that the fire began in the living room in the general vicinity of the fireplace. It is now assumed that SCP-060 Alpha manifested within the house while Corhill burned SCP-060 in the fireplace. Considering SCP-060 Alpha's nature, why the house was not entirely destroyed during this alleged manifestation is as of yet unknown. No human remains were found within the structure. Jonathan Corhill's whereabouts, and whether he is dead or alive, are currently unknown. Lesson complete. If you missed the previous orientation, go watch SCP-059, Radioactive Mineral, right now. Item number, SCP-059. Object Class, Keter. Special Containment Procedures. A single specimen of SCP-059 is kept at Site-11B inside a graded Z laminate shielding box composed of depleted uranium, tantalum, tin, steel, copper, and aluminum. Surrounding SCP-059's containment box is a 7 meter by 7 meter by 7 meter area, sealed as a Level 4 biohazard area, and surrounded by 3 centimeters of lead shielding. This area is to be sprayed daily with a solution of methyl isothiocyanate to prevent overgrowth of SCP-059-1. Personnel entering an SCP-059 affected area are cautioned to wear appropriate biohazard protection.
So, we got the site director. I'm in charge. My name is Security Chief, right? We're a hidden location out of fucking Louisiana, alright? That's all I'm gonna say for now.
Chief, a breakthrough on drugs. We're in Chicago. We're in the outskirts of Chicago. That's where we are.
Alright, I guess we're out in Chicago. Listen, I'm not reading too well on this situation. Long story short, I'm guessing you guys were trained and sent here in order to assist us. We kind of do this with every trainee. Right, men? We do this with everyone, right?
Yes, sir.
Long story short, alright, your job is gonna be to defend this entire area. There was an SCP yesterday that was sent out to another location, well, he's being sent back. He's kind of like this big fucking lizard, alright? He scares the shit out of me, but today we're gonna be sending him back, and he's hopefully gonna be very cooperative, you know? You know what I mean? Capiche?
Mostly Capiche. Does he have a power? Does he have like one of them powers like some of them SCPs have?
I mean, at least yeah.
Oh.
Literally, he is. I'm not even joking.
Oh. Alright.
Oh my God. He my bambinas the other night.
What is he saying?
Hey, who's knocking on the door? Who's knocking on the door?
Oh, it's someone. Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have to go and show you the outside of the area, the outskirts. You know how it is. The usual.
That's scary.
Capiche.
No, it's not scary. Don't worry about it. All right. Are you making fun of my capiche?
No, I like your Capiche. I'm trying to adapt your Capiche into my talk. Capiche?
Yeah, capiche. Come on. Let's move on now. Just show us the way. Yeah, from the garage.
All right.
We're just gonna go out on the roof real quick. It's gonna be quick. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Whoa, that sounded a little more
Give me a second.
Sir, why do you look like Amelia Earhart? You know, I worship Amelia Earhart as one of my own, okay? Don't judge me.
What? Why is there always that one guy? That's a terrible way.
Alright, so, you got brother over there.
Look how they're going.
Whoa, look at all that.
It looks like my bathroom. This is the first time you've seen some corn?
Yeah.
This is out of the question. Listen, you got brother over there. So the convoy's gonna come in through that, and it's gonna have, it should be coming in any second now, actually. The convoy's coming in through that. It's gonna have an SCP. Everything should go according to plan, you know what I'm saying?
You sound so confident. I don't think anything could go wrong.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm back in the facility. In the facility. No, okay, just get in the facility. All right, hold on.
Okay.
Get in the facility. Go in the facility. What do you want? Hey, Dr. White, how you doing?
Hey, it's Dr. White. Hey, Dr. White. Oh, shit, Dr. White. We got stuck. I'll listen. I'll listen to what you had to say, Dr. White. It's like I don't even exist to Dr. White.
I need all Ginsec to get ready. We're about to move out. I need them all in the lobby. That's orders. Whoever happens, go get them. Go get Ginsec. Tell them it's my orders. Captain Am. You stay here. You stay here, Shuffles.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll say. That's smart. That's smart.
It's been another meeting you, but I gotta go. I'll see you later.
Yeah, thanks for the orientation. Good luck with wherever you're going.
Right.
I don't know what was touching me there for a second. I was about to knock you out with the 1-2, you know what I'm saying?
I hear you, General Captain Hank.
You call me Hank?
Yeah, you sound like my friend Hank.
I am. You name it. I'm not Hank.
First of all, you don't have any armor. You're at 25. We need you to get up to the station.
You don't have any armor. What were you doing, huh? What made you lose your armor, boy?
It's my first time, Charlie. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, man.
Here's a fucking SCP.
Wait, you ain't got no armor either, Double. I got enough armor. Oh, sorry about that, sir.
Why are my Ginsec in a disorderly fashion? Come on, I need you in presentable order. There's a medic in the middle. We need to have you on the far right. Come on, we gotta get this done. Professional by the books, gentlemen.
Obviously, whoopsies.
Get in there, medic. Huh? Do you want to get booted out of this fucking foundation, huh? Fucking with me, huh? No, sir. No, sir.
Oh, put your gun on safety.
Put your fucking gun on safety, Dolphin. I'm trying to...
He's sorry. He's had a rough day, sir.
Yeah, my goldfish died. Hey, did I give you fucking permission to talk?
No, you
Huh?
didn't.
You think I'm jealous? Huh?
Sorry about that.
Did I give you permission to
No,
talk?
no, hey, no, I'm gonna shut up. No.
That's what I thought.
Director, it's time to move out. I gotta bring everybody.
He sounds like fucking Hank
Order
Hill.
action, all right? If you see anything on the fire, though, all right? Until the order is given to fire. Let's move it. Follow me. In the elevator.
Go, baby.
Go.
Oh, go. I was just admiring his voice.
Might break the capacity again. It just got fixed. Sarah, it was you last time, Nathan. All right, James, we're ready.
All righty, listen, ladies and gentlemen, as you may know, everybody go full first. Let me make sure to brief everybody here. Basically, SCP-62 is somewhere out there in the wilderness. We gotta go capture him, and we gotta do it quick, and we gotta do it quick. Now, here's the situation, all right? We're gonna have two teams, okay? We're gonna have one team with Captain Ham and one team with me, okay? Since Double and Shuffles, you guys are with me.
I've never been French first before.
You can go with the other team, all right? We're gonna have two teams. We're gonna be separated. Now, here's the situation that's gonna happen.
Captain Ham.
Basically, we're gonna have to go and get 682, but if you see him, do not shoot, okay? If you shoot, he'll know where you are and he'll go and kill you, okay? So we need to be very precise on how we're doing it, okay? And we need to do it quick, we need to do it precise, and we need to do it well. So when you see him, call him on the radio, on this radio if you need, or on the chat radio if you need, you know what I'm saying? Do whatever you need, okay? Yes, what's up, Mr. Guy? What do you need? The question.
Do you have any helicopters by any chance? That would be a lot more time for him to take stuff.
Sorry, what was that? I was too busy, not hearing you. Can you say that again?
We have helicopters. I do believe that would be most strategically advantageous.
Unfortunately, we do not have any helicopters in position here at this
I don't think we have helicopters.
What about
specific people that are going to get in there that are made to essentially, how do I say this? These are the vehicles that are going to make and break the world, alright? If they to escape the world, not go, okay? So what we got to do is we got to take these specialized vehicles that are used only for these predicaments, and we got to use them well, okay? Don't fuck around with them, okay? Everybody, let's go to the garage. Come on now.
Maybe we should have helicopters be a part of those vehicles.
That's what I'm saying. Get in the back. Yeah. Get in the fucking back. Your truck's outside, Captain. Alright? Alright, who's taking shotgun now? Who's taking shotgun? What's going on?
I really like being in the back of a UPS. I feel like a package. There's nothing to hold on to. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Whoopsies.
What the hell?
Whoops, my bad.
I think we lost one boy.
Oh, he's back.
Well, I'm glitching through the cabin. What the hell?
Why did we use this? Oh my god.
Oh, crap.
Even afford seats, you know, in fucking helicopter. Sorry, guys.
We need a bigger budget. This is such a bad one.
Screaming pain.
They're leaving.
Come on, boys. We're right around the corner. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, guns up. Did you guys take ammo?
I got 11 bullets.
Yeah, no.
That should be enough, right?
All right,
There's some in the back. Go grab it. There's some in the back, sir.
Trust me, 11 bullets is not enough. I can 682.
Oh, there you go.
You
I'm
can
gonna ship it.
kill us.
Oh, we're not supposed to shoot though. Anyway, do we really need ammo?
Yeah, I think they're fine, all right? I think they're good. Oh, shit. There it is. Holy shit. Oh, my God.
Wait, where? I'm colorblind. I don't see it. I'm colorblind.
I don't see it. Oh, I see it.
Oh, is it that cow? It's that cow, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
I see it. It's very aggressive looking. So, he's moving. He's moving on us. He's moving on us.
He's getting on you guys.
Oh, shoot.
Shoot. Man, what else got to shoot?
Did it kill our friends?
Oh, shit. It's coming over the side. Shoot it.
I thought we weren't supposed to kill it. Oh God. Why are you using a baton?
Cuffs? Yeah, get the big cuffs on.
Oh, he's growing.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
We need to get him disclosed. We can't let the public see him like this.
Oh, are we going to dress him up?
Let's go throw a song over. I think I love this. He needs to be my friend. I think Shovels fell out of his stomach at the bottom.
Doppel, you should get away from him. I'm not trusting you anymore.
He's supposed to be my friend.
Do you think he's going to break out again, Doppel?
With some aid.
What are you implying?
I love him. He needs to be my friend.
Oh, no.
Turn your approach to depot. Grab
Okay.
Shovels and Dope.
I don't think I can.
Doppel, no. Doppel, no.
Let's go.
Doppel.
Boys, want to see your...
Can I just say goodbye to him, please?
Frank, follow me and we'll go say goodbye, alright? Let's go.
Okay.
Alright, Chef, you want to come as well?
Yeah, sure. I got to be there for my friend Doppel.
Left faster.
Yeah.
Which was this one now? Fuck off.
Unfortunately, questions of ethics haven't bothered many scientists for a long time. Some of them spit not only on the law, but also on the lives of their test subjects. One of these inhumane experiments resulted in the anomalous object SCP-191, or the Cyborg Child. This is a 9-year-old girl who was the victim of an experimentalist doctor whose name I'll try to determine in the course of this video. She remains as the sole survivor after the evil doctor shot himself during an assault by Foundation agents. The rest of the test subjects either died at the hands of the doctor himself or were eliminated during the operation. Only 20% of the left half of the girl's brain and skull have been preserved. The rest has been removed. In place of the child's left ear and eye are built-in perception sensors that can detect low-frequency radio waves and high-energy gamma radiation. Her teeth, larynx, and lower jaw were also replaced with additional parts, so the anomaly is unable to talk. Her esophagus was rerouted to a special hole made in her neck. Her trachea is connected to a built-in air filtration device. The anomaly's musculoskeletal system has also endured a number of changes. An input-output device has been installed in her forearm in place of her ulna and radius. It's equipped with USB, Ethernet, FireWire, and DIN 8-pin interfaces. Accessing it is as simple as pushing up the skin on the girl's right arm, like a sleeve. The surviving portion of the object's brain is connected to a 24-core processor. It's able to translate all of the information from the sensors into brain impulses. Inside the glial pathways are fiber optic cables that transmit data between different parts of the body. The anomalous child's motor skills are hindered. The brainstem, along with the cerebellum, which is responsible for coordination in space, were damaged during a surgical procedure. The right arm and most of the right leg are artificial in nature and consist of steel and carbon fiber. Since a significant portion of muscle tissue is exposed, the girl is quite prone to infection. In addition, the anomaly has lowered pain and temperature thresholds because of damage to her spine. But despite reduced pain sensitivity, she's given regular doses of analgesics and antibiotics in order to keep the surviving flesh viable. The cyborg child also lacks major blood vessels, lungs, and a heart. In their place is an artificial structure that performs similar functions. The girl is most likely still alive thanks to these components. They can restore functionality even in the event of the body's biological death. To all of the above, the girl has undergone 15 other changes, the purpose of which are unknown. But judging by the fact that the child's vital activity is hindered by all of these modifications, one can conclude that this is merely a test version. All of the changes were made in order to find out whether a person can survive at all under such drastic transformations. As we can see, it's still possible. Without the ability to move, eat, or speak normally, the girl survived. These physical limitations surely lead to a particular psychological state. Despite the fact that the girl is calm and obedient, scientists doubt her mental well-being. Although the object herself always says, through the computer interface, that she feels fine. Most of the time, the anomaly remains motionless, either sitting still or lying in the fetal position. This is due to her motor limitations. Her emotional state is as stable as her motor activity. Mood swings are completely absent. The girl is usually melancholic and practically never makes eye contact unless asked to do so. She may be unable to laugh or feel emotions. All attempts to cheer her up have been made in vain. The cyborg's intelligence is more artificial than human. Amidst high-speed data processing, the understanding of that data's meaning is significantly impaired, if not absent altogether. The girl is unable to understand complex tasks on her own. In order for the child to understand human speech, you need to speak as slowly and simply as possible, explaining everything explicitly. However, despite this, the girl is able to emulate many components of computer programs. During one experiment, she was connected to a computer via USB port. SCP-191 was then tasked with reproducing certain images in MS Paint. After a few seconds, the images were accurately drawn, while out of all of the program's tools, only the pencil had been used. Then the girl produced several drawings on her own. In one of them, a Foundation agent recognized the scene of the doctor's suicide, the one who had turned the child into a cyborg. In the second experiment, SCP-191 was asked to play a video game. But at the very beginning of the experiment, she broke the disc that had to be inserted into the console's disk drive. This happened because of the girl's poor motor skills. However, she managed to download the game even without the disc. She just had to optically scan the broken media. The girl's eye is usually red, but when she looked at the disc, it turned green. The child said that she simply read all the zeros and ones from the disc and loaded the data onto the console. Meanwhile, the girl seemed very afraid of making a mistake and being punished. Apparently, the creator doctor had been punishing her for every misstep she made. In the last experiment, the tasks became more complicated. The girl was told to enhance fragments of a video taken from a surveillance camera in the employee cafeteria. The child needed to enlarge the images so that they could see the license plate on the cars parked outside the window. In addition, the cyborg had to enhance the video file by expanding the frame, adding 100 pixels to each side. And lastly, the child was told the exact location of the other camera, so that she could create the video sequence from a different angle. It's not difficult to guess that it's impossible to perform these tasks properly. The resolution of the camera doesn't allow you to see the numbers clearly, and enhancement of the video sequence isn't possible without the original data. So the girl carried out the task blindly. The drawn numbers didn't correspond. For 30 years, I made a copy of the records I found.
Okay. What should I watch now, my boy? What should I watch now? I wonder. What should I watch now?
Coming in at number 10, we have
Can you fuck off? Crazy dickhead. Can you...
All the Ways a Dead Body.
Can you fuck off? Fuck seriously, dude. Okay. So next.
Disney movies are supposed to be for kids, right? While that might have been the idea originally, it seems like the studio has been more and more keen to crank out content for the whole family to enjoy. While this sometimes means more compelling and mature stories, it often also means some very targeted and often risque adult jokes. For this list, we're taking a look at some of the best ones, for our video of 10 Disney moments that only adults will understand. We hope you enjoyed this list, and be sure to subscribe to Screen Rant for more awesome content every single day. And before we start, can you guess this movie from these emojis? Stay tuned for the answer at the end of our video.
Where's my nose?
Here it is.
It's your arm. Honey, what's that?
Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is one of those Disney movies that can make even the most grown-up viewer totally break down in tears. Along with some seriously emotional moments, the movie also brings us one of the most ruthless Disney villains to date, in the form of Lotso. The evil bear is maniacal and rude, so it's no surprise that he actually prompts one of the most risque adult jokes in the history of Disney movies. At one point, Lotso doesn't like what Mrs. Potato Head is saying, so instead of telling her so, he just pops the lips right off her face. Mr. Potato Head was not too happy.
No one takes my wife's mouth, except me.
If you don't understand that joke, it's probably best we don't explain it to you. Toy Story. When you're talking about kids' movies that can easily be appreciated by adults, the Toy Story franchise might just take the cake. The original film might have less sneaky adult moments than its two sequels, but it does have one mature moment that, once you understand it, will definitely make you laugh. In one scene, we get to see some pretty messed up toys at Sid's house, and one of them is a flirtatious plastic fishing rod with Barbie legs attached to it. If you take a second to think about it,
Can I
it's pretty
join
clear
you?
that the filmmakers were creating a character that was
Sure.
literally a hooker. It's a very
Thanks.
clever joke, and we doubt that many children were able to catch on to this play on words.
Congratulations, San Francisco. You've ruined pizza.
Inside Out. Inside Out is one of those classic Disney Pixar movies
So,
that,
what's
although
your
kids can
name?
enjoy it, it's really better suited for adults. Inside Out also features
Jessica.
some pretty hilarious jokes that were definitely
Yeah.
sprinkled in for adults to enjoy.
In this universe, she's not a kid, she's an adult. So, yeah. Since my character is, 20 or something, that's why I make her 20, like, I'll make her 23, and I'll make my character 22 or 25. I don't know, maybe 22. Yeah. 22, so yeah. If this character was a teenager, sure, I wouldn't mind it, but, Sure, some of my characters, you know, have, you know, what, with kids, but some of my characters don't. So, yeah, I'm going back in the character now. 3, 2, 1. And go.
At one point, Louis Black's anger character says,
I saw a really hairy guy. He looked like a bear.
while kids may think this is a joke about the animal, adults who are aware of LGBTQ slang know that bear is a term meaning a burly and often bearded gay man. Frozen. Frozen absolutely took the world by storm in 2013, and ever since it was released, kids and adults alike just haven't been able to let it go.
Oh, never bothered me anyway.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry. The film features lots of fun jokes for the whole family to enjoy. Watch out for my butt!
You smoke weed,
But there are also
Jessica?
definitely some moments
Sure.
specifically designed to connect with
Cool.
adult viewers.
Peter Jordan.
Sandwiches.
Best friend's name?
Robert
John.
Smoke.
Creamy.
What size?
Sure.
Doesn't matter.
Any adult watching will instantly connect that line with the age-old idea of does size matter,
Cool.
if you know what we mean.
Yeah, Dick. Does Dick
Regardless of how
size?
disappointing the sequel was, the first Cars movie was definitely one of Disney's best original concepts, and hit a chord with kids worldwide. The story
Yeah,
of
he's
Lightning
enjoying the
McQueen
smoke
was a
and
whole
the
lot of
water.
fun, but hidden between
Thanks.
the races are
You're
some pretty
welcome.
sneaky adult jokes.
So, how
One of
old
the
are
best
you?
moments that definitely slipped past kids is written in
23
plain sight on the
years
truck
old.
stop sign. The sign
Oh, yeah.
advertises that its restaurant
How old are
features all
you?
convertible waitresses. This is, of course, a
21.
joke saying that the restaurant
Cool.
has topless waitresses for customers to enjoy. Adults with a keen eye and quick mind might have
Go
caught
to
on to
fuck.
this one, but we're pretty
After.
sure that no kids did.
So, why not YOLO?
Oh, Hairball, Aladdin. Aladdin is one of the most fun Disney movies ever made, and even though the third film
Can
went
I
straight
come
to
inside
DVD,
you?
Disney still made
Sure.
sure to include some jokes for adults
Cool.
to enjoy while their kids watch the film on repeat. Robin Williams' Genie is undoubtedly the best character in the franchise, and it just so happens that he also delivers the best for adults only moment. Right before Jasmine and Aladdin are set to get hitched, the genie says these words.
I thought the Earth wasn't supposed to move until the honeymoon.
The phrase earth moving is a metaphor for reaching sexual climax, and it's pretty clear that this is what the big blue magical man is referring to. The Little Mermaid. The hidden adult joke from The Little Mermaid was so risque that the studio was actually forced to edit the moment out when the film was re-released in 2006. But the film's wedding scene featured an R-rated moment that adults watching closely were definitely shocked by. When the minister is officiating the wedding, there seems to be a particularly large bulge protruding from his pelvic region. The internet has argued for years about whether this is just his knees or if it was actually his, bishop's staff. But either way, it was definitely not a moment meant for kids. Zootopia. In 2016, Disney achieved incredible critical and commercial success with their animated hit, Zootopia. Although we could spend time talking about the specific adult jokes hidden in Zootopia, like the Breaking Bad references or the implication that bunnies are very sexually active, it seems like there might be something bigger going on with this movie. Zootopia might technically be a kids' movie, but pretty much the whole plot of the film is centered around ideas of race relations and the war on drugs in America. These aren't ideas meant for young kids, and we have to think that the brains behind Zootopia were just using cute animals to get across a bigger, more important message.
Which advertises all convertible waitresses. You think this could be some kind of automobile strip club? I'm pretty sure we'll have to read some fan fiction to be sure. But another euphemism that is definitely what it sounds like is when Lightning McQueen sees some female cars flashing him. Sure, here he means that they're just flashing their headlights at him, but come on, we all know what he's actually talking about. With Pixar's short film Pearl, the animation team decided to tackle a modern issue with humor and wit. When a female ball of yarn starts working at a startup that has otherwise employed all men, she experiences sexism in the workplace and puts a cartoon face on a topic that many women experience on a daily basis in the professional sphere.
Hi there.
See, they hired a Wally.
And while the animation can certainly appeal to kids, the subject matter is a great teaching tool to give people who have experienced similar treatment something to relate to, while giving others the chance to understand the situation in a new light. While Cars and Cars 2 are often lumped with the more kid-centric offerings among Pixar's films, Lightning McQueen's crash is pretty dramatic for a children's movie. In Cars 3, Lightning experiences a life-changing crash that's brutal for such a normally upbeat franchise. From the trailer advertising Cars 3, the sequence totally subverts our expectations, promising a movie that's in tune with more adult themes and a level of melancholy that's more in line with the furnace scene from Toy Story 3. Finding Nemo showed us that there was more going on under the sea than a sing-along led by a red lobster. Instead, this story of a lost fish and his search for home showed us a vibrant underwater world. It also had an anatomy joke that most parents will get, but most kids will miss. Pearl, the pink octopus, relates to Nemo with the line,
See this tentacle? It's actually shorter than all my other tentacles.
"Is this actually a nod to a human body part? You decide, because we'd rather not stay on this subject, actually." Another moment from Finding Nemo is less debatable and possibly more offensive to some audience members. Luckily, in this film about fish, the following line may float over the heads of most older kids. Adults, teens, and preteens will probably understand this one, though. When the fish inside the tank decide a type of carpet as the Overlook Hotel in his home. This may be due to the fact that Pixar director, Lee Unkrich, also happens to run a shining fan site called the OverlookHotel.com. Go ahead and visit the site, but just don't book a room. Like...
By advertising on YouTube, I catch the eye of my ideal customers at the right time.
Fuck
I
off.
can connect with someone like...
No one cares.
Finding Nemo,
Fuck off.
Ratatouille is populated by
Too
cute
high
animals
for
with
fucking
big
that.
eyes and big hearts. As well as an endearing cast of human characters. When Linguini, the hapless lead human character, tells his crush Colette that he has a tiny little... He's referring to the rat, Remy, who's been helping him out. Colette could mistakenly think Linguini is talking about something else, especially when she glances down. Another moment in the film can be interpreted in multiple ways. When Skinner happens upon Linguini while he's secretly with Remy in a food storage area, Skinner tells Linguini to leave. The top shelf says, "One can get too familiar with vegetables, you know." Feel free to take that quote to mean
Let's have a
whatever
smoke
your
and then we'll
imagination will allow.
Done.
College is the time in a young person's life when they transition from teenagers to adults. So it would make sense that more mature themes would appear in Monsters University. The film's director, Dan Scanlon, wanted to show Mike and Sully as having less fully formed goals and motivations than their older selves have in the original Monsters, Inc. Over the course of the film, Mike and Sully changed their goals, and Scanlon explained that this was unique when compared
feel
to many
sorry-
other kids'
sorry
movies,
for you
which
when
adults
you
can't
were a
relate to
kid.
making changes to their ultimate
What?
life plans,
Batman.
especially in college. Personally,
Yeah.
I changed my major like 6 times.
It sucks,
In a
but I'm
less
used to it
thoughtful
now.
moment, Toy Story 3 happens to give us
Fair
a
enough.
more lowbrow joke. When Mrs. Potato Head gets her mouth taken from her, Mr. Potato Head sticks up for his better half.
Hey, no one takes my wife's mouth, except me.
This can be seen as a kind of double entendre for something more personal than you'd expect to hear in a Toy Story film. But it seems pretty normal for the Potato Head couple love-hate relationship. Another kind of euphemism made an appearance in A Bug's Life. While the film doesn't get as much love as Toy Story or many of the other notable Pixar films, A Bug's Life still has some classic moments. Even a more throwaway and mature line still can garner a laugh from the older people in the room. They'll most likely understand what this is referring to. During the scene at P.T. Blee's circus, a couple of flies who were up to no good ogle the ladybug. One hits Ladybug with the line,
Hey, Judy, wanna pollinate with a real bug? Yeah.
"Looks like some parents are gonna have to talk to their kids about the birds and the bees, and the flies and the ladybugs just a little bit early." In another memorable moment, a scene from Toy Story 2 is able to get the same point across as the fly scene from A Bug's Life, but with no lines spoken whatsoever. When Jessie meets the gang in Andy's room, she pulls off some crazy stunts that endear her to the other toys. Buzz Lightyear can't even stammer in her presence. Instead, his wings pop open. We can only imagine what this means, and while the younger audience members might not fully understand what activates Buzz Lightyear's extendable wings, the older viewers know exactly what that's supposed to symbolize.
Yeah, dick.
The same studio pulled out all the stops with goofy, insect-themed wordplay in A Bug's Life. As Flick enters the city and meets some more exotic bugs in his new surroundings, he comes across a mosquito who enjoys a Bloody Mary. It's literally the lifeblood belonging to a lady named Mary. In another moment of suggestive dialogue, we see the Inside Out cast giving the audience a sneak peek at their view of San Francisco. Disgust takes the time to assure Fear that they won't encounter any bears. While the bear may be on the state flag of California, that's when Anger chimes in to say, I saw a real hairy guy, he looked like a bear. As the Pixar team was based in California all these years, they can attest to the fact that San Francisco does actually have one. Maybe you don't remember The Good Dinosaur. It is one of the lesser-known Pixar films after all. But it does contain a decent and suggestive joke that keeps a kid's movie about a lonely dinosaur a bit breezier and more fun. One moment of note is when Arlo the dinosaur refers irately to non-compliant chickens, saying,
Alright, you cluckers, you're about to get fed.
if more kids started using the word clockers, maybe we'd hear more about The Good Dinosaur, but perhaps not really in a positive way? Ratatouille is seen by some viewers as an allegory for the connection between Disney and Pixar. The film was released in 2007, a year after the merger between Pixar and Disney. According to theories online, Remy is basically Pixar. The rat is a student of a now-deceased celebrity chef, and Remy tries to offer new takes on the famed chef's celebrated dishes. The restaurant that was once run by the chef is just a shadow of what it once was. In this allegory, Remy is Pixar and the chef is Disney, a company that, prior to the merger with Pixar, had been struggling for several years. Well, now that Disney owns the world basically, the company seems to be doing pretty well for itself, huh? Let's bring things back around to The Incredibles 2, where director Brad Bird and his creative team decided to get a bit edgier with their content. Pixar decided to get a little topical by subtly referencing the current events of our own world in this hit superhero sequel. Some astute fans might have noticed how Elastigirl was given a body cam upon returning to her crime-fighting ways. This seems to mirror the debate over police responsibility and how many officers are now expected to wear body cams in the field of duty. There's also timely references to immoral politicians and references to an unfair system. Maybe it was all a bit too real for parents wanting to enjoy a simple superhero movie. You may have thought that A Bug's Life was simply an original story about insects defending
Do you
themselves
want me
from
to cook
invasive
something
grasshoppers.
after?
But no, A Bug's
Yeah,
Life
I
is inspired by
wanted
the
to
classic
cook.
Akira Kurosawa film,
Cook
The Seven
me a
Samurai,
burger.
a movie about
Got it.
7 feudal Japanese warriors
You
who
wanna go
defend a
out?
town from invading marauders. Audience
Sure.
members who
Love
are a
you,
little
babe.
too young to have seen The
Love
Seven
you
Samurai
too.
might recall a later adaptation from 1960, which was remade more recently, the famous western, The Magnificent Seven. Since we
Ready?
still seem to have your undivided attention,
Yeah,
let's
ready.
just get on the record and say that all of Toy Story 4, or at least the
Turn it
entire...
off. And yeah. Let's probably go into my room pretty much. Let's fuck on my bed. Let me guess. Oh, hi Corey. Hello. Since the other one got nuked and they are building it back up, I got transferred here pretty much. Cool. Okay, see ya. See ya. Let's do this. Done.